Becoming a mother changed me in ways that I never expected, and my birth story didn't go how I imagined. So, where do we begin? 2 days before I gave birth, I remember waking up and going to the bathroom to pee. And then as I was wiping myself, I noticed that there was some pink on the tissue. So I was like, oh my God. I remembered that one of the symptoms of early labor, that labor was coming, is having a pink showing. So there would be a little bit of blood-ish kind of appearing. And that means that your cervix is starting to ripen. So things are starting to happen. And I was so excited. I was so excited. I immediately told my mom and I called her in and I showed her like, Mom, look, my pink, whatever, there's a pink showing. So things are happening. So my mom immediately told my husband, and then he was on a work call. He was working from home. So he immediately stopped what he was doing and he came to the bedroom and he was like, oh my God, he started panicking. He was actually more nervous than I was. He started panicking and he was like, what do you do? What's happening? Blah, blah. And I was like, relax. It's just a pink showing. It's one of the first signs. It's nothing we can do right now. Just relax. We should probably go to the hospital, just, so that they can confirm that things are happening. So we had breakfast. I ate. I was just relaxed, calm. And I remember my mom saying, for someone who's going to give birth, you're very relaxed, eh? You're handling things very well. And I was like, if this is the worst, it's not so bad. Little did I know. So, after the morning happened, we now went to the hospital. Went in to see the midwives, and basically I told them what happened, and they wanted to check to see if my water had broken. And just to see what's happening down there. So this is probably one of the most painful experiences of my life, is when they're checking inside there. I'm traumatized even talking about it, honestly. But they put this thing down there and they open you up, then she inserted her whole hand inside, fingers in there, and then started probing, and yeah. So they swab so that they can test the area and see if your waters have broken, so they can see what to do next. So they swabbed me, they tested, and turns out my water hadn't broken yet. So yes, things were happening, but my water hadn't broken yet. So I was advised to just go back home and if I'll start getting contractions at some point, but just go home, take it easy, keep an eye on your contractions, and come back when things progress. So I went home. We went home. Things were fine. I was calm, and then the nighttime came and we were sleeping, and I remember now I started feeling the contractions. They started off as like small cramps, those tiny period cramps, and I was like, oh, okay, this is not so bad, it's okay, I'm used to having cramps as a woman. But then as the hours went by, they kept on getting more painful and closer and closer and closer together. That's basically the whole point. The whole transition is like tiny and then big, closer. So the next day we went back to the hospital, and I told them like my contractions, we've been timing them, and we were told if they reach a certain level or whatever, you should come back to the hospital so we can check you out. So again, they opened me up, so invasive, put her hands through, doing all of these things with her fingers, and mind you, you're still having contractions when all of that is happening. So she put her fingers through, and then she checked to see how many centimeters I was dilated, and apparently I was only 2 centimeters dilated, but the cramps are painful. So I was like, okay. She was like, yeah, you need to come in when you're like 4 centimeters at least, 4 or 6. I was like, okay. So they gave me painkillers, and then we went home. When we got home, my husband made me like a bubble bath. I put on some music, candles, just to like get in the zone where I'm relaxing, and yeah. And I was fine for a couple of hours with the painkillers that I was given. But then as time went on and the night went on, the pain just became really unbearable. Like very, very painful. So we slept through the night, and the pain was like, I was in a lot of pain actually. I was like, okay, these cramps are really painful. I'm definitely in labor now, like it's really painful. But every time we called the hospital, they were like, yeah, it's not yet time, blah blah. So we just decided, you know what, we need to pack the hospital bag, we need to go now. So we got all of our stuff together, my husband and I and my mom and my brother-in-law. We went to the hospital. Just hold on, there's people. I'm filming outside, so there's people passing me, hearing me talk.
You're talking about early. Yes or no?
Right. So we went to the hospital. My mom and my brother-in-law were not allowed to enter in with us. It was just my husband and I. And so now this time I was in a lot of pain. So we went to the labor ward, and we were told that since your water hasn't broken yet, and your cervix, you're not yet 6 centimeters dilated, we can't give you epidural. So I was like, okay, but like, how come I'm not getting any painkillers or anything? Because I was in a lot of pain, like a lot, like excruciating pain. Honestly, the midwife told us, now the best thing you can do is go for a walk in the hospital, walk for like 2 hours. That will help, like help you get dilated or whatever. So just walk around the hospital and come back after 2 hours. So we didn't have a choice, so we just continued walking. We went for a walk around the hospitals, up and down the stairs and the building, and during that whole time I was crying so much. I remember crawling on the floor, like crawling like a dying animal on the floor, falling down every time. My husband was supporting me up, like holding me. Like honestly, if it wasn't for him, I would have died right there and then. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, it was so painful. I was like, what the hell? Like, how am I not given epidural right now? I'm in so much pain. And every time we'd go back to the midwives, this midwife would tell me, oh, labor is painful. You get used to it. Labor is painful, but you're not yet dilated. to the level that we want, so we can't give you epidural. Yeah, but we can give you gas and air. So, okay, fine. I took the gas and air. You blow onto it and it's supposed to help relieve pain. But honestly, that shit was not helping me at all. I was like, I had a comb. I was like I was squeezing my husband's hand. I was crawling on the floor. I was crying. I felt like I was dying. And all through all of this, the pain and all the contraction, everything, I'd have midwives coming in and prodding me, like putting the hands inside and checking how many centimeters I was dilated, and just like, oh, not yet. Oh, your waters are your water, like it's bulging so much, but it's not yet broken. You just have to wait. Just go for a walk. Or the person who does the epidural is not yet here. He stepped out. Or just labor is painful. All women go through it. Mind you guys, there was a bigger issue at hand, and nobody knew what was happening. So basically, it got to a point where I felt like I was going to die. I was like, this is not normal. This is not okay. So the person who does the epidural came. They transferred me to the place where they get the epidural done. Oh, people are passing me. So the anesthesiologist, I think that's the person that gives you the epidural. I don't know, but yeah, he was brought in, and I had to like lie very, 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 very still. And during that time, as he's putting the needle on your back, he's like, if you move, things might not go so well for you. So try your best to stay still. And mind you guys, I'm contracting so hard. At this time, after every few seconds, I have a contraction. And it's huge. And I have to stay still as a needle went through my spine. But honestly, by the grace of God, I managed to do it. He stuck the needle, and I was fine. I started feeling like at least now, finally, I have some relief. Like the pain is under control now, and I remember feeling so drowsy and so like as if I was high, like on something. I felt just like I was slurring. I was just like and but I was not in pain, which was the most important thing. So basically at this point now, the midwives decided, we're gonna just break your waters for you. So they took like this thing, and then they opened me up again for the 100th time. They popped and my waters broke like shwa, and I felt all of it like so my waters had broken. And also another thing that they found out during this time, you know how they stick like since you're numb all the way down, they stick this thing catheter inside you, and it'll help you pee during the process. And there was a lot of blood in my urine. Like the doctor saw a lot of blood in my urine, and he became immediately concerned. He was like, things are not okay. Apparently we later found out that my kidneys were failing. This whole time, the reason why I was in a lot of pain is because my kidneys were failing. My labor was obstructed, it was not progressing because the baby was in the wrong position. Like instead of facing the back, the baby was facing the front. I don't know how to explain it to you, but the baby was in the wrong position, and they were sitting on something, or the head was blocking something, so my kidneys were failing. And that is why the labor was not moving forward, and that's why I was in a lot of pain. And this whole time, if they had just checked everything out, they would have found this out. But they don't really give black women the best care in maternity, if we're being honest. But like, that's a whole other story that I don't want to get into. But if you know what I mean, if you're a black woman, especially in the UK or in the US, and you're giving birth, you know what I'm talking about. The prejudice, the racism. My husband and I felt that. So after finding out that my kidneys were failing and the baby was in the wrong position, now the surgeons came in, and they told us that the next course of action was to have an emergency C-section like right now. Like we need to have a C-section right now. The baby stats are dropping, your stats are also dropping, you're losing blood, like things are like we need to do the C-section right now. So I was immediately rushed to the theater room. I remember just being drowsy and just like, what is happening, blah blah. But my husband was with me. He was so strong and so brave, like throughout the whole thing. My support system, honestly, I thank God for him. So I was taken to the theater, and I remember looking at the doctors or the nurses around me, and I told one of them, like, can we pray? Like, is it okay if we pray? And she was like, yeah, you can pray for us. Like, you can pray. So my husband called my mom so that I could talk to her before the surgery. And I told her what was going on, because all those hours, they didn't know what was happening. They were freaking out. Like, my poor mom, she was freaking out so much. So my husband led us in prayer, and then they did the surgery. They started cutting us up, and in between, when they were operating, I remember hearing one of the machines beeping, like beep 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 beep, and immediately the doctor switched it off. And I think he did that because the baby's stats were dropping, and they didn't want us to hear it. They didn't want us to know how bad the situation was. Later on is when my husband told me, like, the baby was, the stats were dropping, and also mine were dropping as well. That's why I was just like drowsy, and I felt like if I closed my eyes, I wouldn't have made it. Like, you know how, like, you just know, like, I felt there's a plane flying above me. That's what you get for filming outside the house. Okay, let it go. Okay, yeah, so you know how you just have a feeling like, don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes. If you close your eyes, you're not gonna make it. So I just kept on holding on. I felt so dehydrated. I felt so tired, but I was telling myself, don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes. Don't close your eyes. So I stayed strong. I didn't close my eyes. I remember like hearing the baby cry. Then they raised her up above the curtain so that I could see her. They put her like on my face, and I cried so hard. I cried a lot. Like, I couldn't believe it, honestly. Like, she was there, and she looked exactly like I thought she would. Full lips. She just looked like my twin. She looked exactly like me, and I was like, oh my God, my baby's here. So they immediately took her to the side, and they did their whatever they normally do, and my husband went there for a second. He cut the cord, then immediately came back to me, because I was still, things were still happening to me, but by the grace of God, they finished me up. They sewed me back. Like, the anesthesiologist was checking up on me, seeing how I'm feeling. He was actually the most important character in our story, because he had a feeling that things were not okay, and he rushed for my surgery to happen. Thank God for that man, honestly. And the surgeon who performed my C-section and saved me and the baby, thank you, because honestly, we wouldn't be here. It was one of the most painfully excruciating moment of my life, and because of that, I don't even think I want to have another baby. Like, I don't think I can go through all of that. If we do have another baby, it will be in Kenya. I'm not gonna give birth in the UK again, honestly. Like, yes, they saved our life, but also the care that we received, the prejudice. By the time they actually figured out that my situation was really, really, really serious, hours had gone by of me in pain, crying on the hospital floor, crawling like a dying animal, crawling, my husband holding me up. Like, guys, it was so dramatic. I was dying, and nobody was doing anything to help us. They would just watch us on the side and be like, oh, sorry, labor is painful. Like, honestly, I hate these people. When we got home, like, both my husband and I just cried, because we had to keep it together. Like, even after giving birth, Our stay at the hospital was another traumatic experience, but like I don't even want to get into that. The main point is our baby is here, healthy. Both of us are safe. We're strong. We healed. I've healed. My C-section scar has healed. Like, I'm doing so well. Like, as I'm filming this, we are 16 weeks postpartum, so 4 months, and honestly, we thank God that we're here. So yeah, it's taken me a while to say my birth story because honestly it was just traumatic, and every time I wanted to talk about it, I didn't even know how to start or what to say, and like, but I'm just so thankful to God that we're here. I'm thankful to my husband for all the support and the strength that he gave me, because that must have been hard for him, knowing that like at some point he felt like he was going to lose both his wife and his child. Like, that's what was happening, and he had to keep it together, and he did. So yeah, we just thank God that we survived, and we're able to tell the story now, looking back with so much gratitude. So yeah, so I'd like to end this video by just telling you thank you so much for listening to my story. I'm still learning what motherhood means to me, and still navigating this new phase of my life. And if you're in this journey as well, where you're trying to figure out what parenting means, what being a new mom means, and trying to navigate the trenches, follow me and subscribe.